Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing today? I don't know why it's not showing the chat because y'all are chatting. And Lumia's up, so I don't know. But hello, Ghastly. Good day, DePrazo. Good evening, DePrazo. Good morning, a jittery squirrel. How are you guys? I hope you're doing well this morning or evening. But guys, guess what? We hit 100 followers here on Twitch, and I think we're at like 650 on TikTok. Look at us. I think the interview went well, but it's now just waiting to find out, you know? That's always the hard part, is waiting. But I think we vibed pretty well, so hopefully that means I get it. It would mean changing the schedule, but thank you. Thank you. I couldn't do it without you guys. Well, and of course, God, but I'm thankful to have all of you along for this journey, but definitely all glory to God, because God obviously wanted all of us to connect, especially into His Word. I still don't have any followers on. Oh my gosh. I don't know why VTube keeps messing up. There we go. I don't know what's going on. VTube's being weird the past couple days. So like yesterday I tried to fix it and ended up messing everything completely up. So I don't know what's going on with it. But yes, we hit some good numbers. And yeah. And good old Lumia. I'm a little sleepy this morning. I don't know about anybody else, but I've had a cup of coffee already and it has not kicked in. So we're also having an energy drink on an empty stomach. So that energy might hit midstream. Okay. So plan for today. We're going to be in Exodus 10 and then, oops, I didn't mean to shrink myself. My bad. I was trying to fix the music because I just realized that the music wasn't playing. There we go. But yeah, so Bible stream this morning, and then I'm going to take a break, eat me some food, maybe do a little cleaning, and then we're going to be in Baldur's Gate again and play some. Maybe talk about the story of Deborah. We're going to see. Bird. The bird reads the word. Bird reads the word. Hey, Lo-Fi, how are you? But yeah, we're gonna read Exodus this morning, probably 10 to 20. And then I'm gonna take a break, and then we're gonna do Baldur's Gate. But that also depends on when my chair gets here, because my chair gets here today. Believe it, I'm gonna just stay for the whole stream. Yay! Yay, Lo-Fi. Yeah, my new chair gets here today. And Cody, because he's amazing, also got me off of my throne wish list, like rollerblade wheels for my chair. And he got those the other day, and they're supposed to be here today too. So those are really cool because, so the dogs love tearing stuff up in my office. So there's stuffing that is constantly everywhere. And so the rollerblade wheels roll better over stuffing. So, and I'm so excited. My chair got massage features and heat features because I found one that was like under $200. And I'm so excited. And it's supposed to be really comfy. All of the reviews say that it's super comfortable. So I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to the heat features. Yeah, I'm so excited. Not that it gets really cold here, but you know, it's good for girly time. But yeah, so there might be a chance I have to kick out the dogs because if they get obnoxious, but um also Big Bertha, the tropical storm, didn't really hit us. We got a little bit of it night before last, but it's kind of just turned and it's now just hanging out in Mexico. It's on a Mexican vacation, so okay, so the verse of the day from Forge Bible Bought Wall, we have the ad is, I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. The life I now live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. Galatians 2:20. Oh, that's a good one. Down there eating tacos and wearing sombreros. Correct. Big Bertha, she partying on the beach. She be partying on the beach. Man, the only time I've like been to Mexico, I had these like really bomb coconut shrimp. Oh, I still think about those. With a tequila margarita. Big Bertha is a classy lady that drinks the margaritas with the tiny umbrellas. she Bertha, I think Big Bertha is a white woman who's just chilling, drinking margaritas and causing disturbances. That's my personification of Big Bertha. Tequila is popular in Mexico. Well, we got about a minute and a half left in the ads, so I'm gonna shrink myself down and get you guys in the Bible. I do need to find where I can get. I need to find an artist to retexture my model, but a lot of them take a really long time, so I don't know. I also don't have the extra money for it until I get a new job, but um yeah, I really want to get my model retextured because I love the hair, I love the wings, I love that, but I want to get the outfit retextured to the art I recently got because the art is so cute. Is it raining? Oh my gosh, I think it's raining. It wasn't supposed to rain at all today. But that's Southeast Texas for you. Pulls out pollen. You're too sweet. One second, I'm checking the weather real quick because it really wasn't supposed to rain today, but I think it just started like the sky fell. Oh my gosh. It must be because now the Wi-Fi is being weird. Yep, we are back from ads. If the weather app will frickin' work. Because I don't need it storming. Because if it storms, I can't stream. Because two of the dogs will be freaking out, trying to jump on me. I don't know. But let me pull up my Bible app. Let me see. Radar. Oh no! I think she's circling back around a little bit to get us. Oh no, that's just a little bit. So we'll have a little rain on and off, but it looks like just rain. Okay. Sorry. Y'all can hear about my weather problems. Yeah, Southeast Texas is wild when it comes to weather. Okay. So we left off right before the plague of locusts. We already had the blood, the gnats, the frogs, the boils, the hail, the plague on the livestock. So we are at the plague of locusts. Okay. Then the Lord said to Moses, Go to Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart and the hearts of his officials, so that I may perform these signs of mine among them, that you may tell your children and grandchildren how I dealt harshly with the Egyptians, and how I performed my signs among them, that you may know that I am the Lord. So Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and said to him, This is what the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, says. How long will you refuse to humble yourself before me? Let my people go so that they may worship me. If you refuse to let them go, I will bring locusts into your country tomorrow. They will cover the face of the ground so that it cannot be seen. They will devour what little you have left after the hail, including every tree that is growing in your fields. They will fill your houses and those of all your officials and all the Egyptians, something neither your parents nor your ancestors have ever seen from the day they settled in this land till now. Then Moses turned and left Pharaoh. Pharaoh's officials said to him, How long will this man be a snare to us? Let the people go so that they may worship their God, the Lord their God. Do you not realize that Egypt is ruined? Then Moses and Aaron were brought back to Pharaoh. Go worship the Lord your God, he said, but tell me who will be going. Moses answered, We will go with our young and our old, with our sons and our daughters, and with our flocks and herds, because we are to celebrate a festival to the Lord. Pharaoh said, The Lord be with you, if I let you go along with your women and children. Clearly you are bent on evil. No, have only the men go and worship the Lord, since that's what you've been asking for. Then Moses and Aaron were driven out of Pharaoh's presence. And the Lord said to Moses, Stretch out your hand over Egypt so that locusts swarm over the land and devour everything growing in the fields, everything left by the hail. So Moses stretched out his staff over Egypt, and the Lord made an east wind blow across the land all that day and all that night. By morning the wind had brought the locusts. They invaded all Egypt and settled down in every area of the country in great numbers. Never before had there been such a plague of locusts, nor will there ever be again. They covered all the ground until it was black. They devoured all that was left after the hail, everything growing in the fields and the fruit on the trees. Nothing green remained on tree or plant in all the land of Egypt. Pharaoh quickly summoned Moses and Aaron and said, I have sinned against the Lord your God and against you. Now forgive my sin once more and pray to the Lord your God to take this deadly plague away from me. Moses then left Pharaoh and prayed to the Lord, and the Lord changed the wind to a very strong west wind, which caught up the locusts and carried them into the Red Sea. Not a locust was left anywhere in Egypt, but the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he would still not let the Israelites go. The plague of darkness. Then the Lord said to Moses, Stretch out your hand toward the sky so that darkness spreads over Egypt, darkness that can be felt. So Moses stretched out his hand toward the sky, and total darkness covered all Egypt for 3 days. No one could see anyone else or move about for 3 days, yet all the Israelites had light in the places where they lived. Then Pharaoh summoned Moses and said, Go, worship the Lord. Even your women and children may go with you. Only leave your flocks and herds behind. But Moses said, You must allow us to have sacrifices and burnt offerings to present to the Lord our God. Genuinely scared for the Egyptians. Absolutely. Especially since every plague was in direct, like slap in the face to the gods they believed in at the time. Wild. Can we just talk about how terrifying a darkness you can feel is? Yeah. Like darkness so thick you can feel it. It makes my skin crawl. Like I've got goosebumps thinking about it. Our livestock too must go with us. Not a hoof is to be left behind. We have to use some of them in the worshiping the Lord our God. And until we get there, we will not know what we are to use to worship the Lord. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he was not willing to let them go. Pharaoh said to Moses, Get out of my sight. Make sure you do not appear before me again. The day you see my face, you will die. Just as you say, Moses replied, I will never appear before you again. That's wild. The plague on the firstborn. Now the Lord had said to Moses, I will bring one more plague on Pharaoh and on Egypt. After that, he will let you go from here, and when he does, he will drive you out completely. Tell the people that men and women alike are to ask their neighbors for articles of silver and gold. The Lord made the Egyptians favorably disposed toward the people, and Moses himself was highly regarded in Egypt by Pharaoh's officials and by the people. So Moses said, This is what the Lord says. About midnight I will go throughout Egypt. Every firstborn son in Egypt will die, from the firstborn son of Pharaoh who sits on the throne to the firstborn son of the female slave who is at her handmill, and all the firstborn of the cattle as well. There will be loud wailing throughout Egypt, worse than there has ever been or will ever be again. But among the Israelites, not a dog will bark at any person or animal. Then you will know that the Lord makes a distinction between Egypt and Israel. Do you know which god this plague is targeted towards? So this one is targeted towards Pharaoh directly because the pharaohs were seen as gods in ancient Egypt. Yeah. So it's so interesting. But also it's also a very early, I think, an early like teaser towards Jesus. Not teaser, like hint of, things to come. All these officials of yours will come to me and bowing down before me and saying, Go, you and all omen, not really an omen, because omens usually are negative, but it's more of like spoiler, I guess. Go, you and all the people who follow you. After that, I will leave. Then Moses, hot with anger, left Pharaoh. The Lord had said to Moses, Pharaoh will refuse to listen to you, so that my wonders may be multiplied in Egypt. Moses and Aaron performed all these wonders before Pharaoh, but the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he would not let the Israelites go out of his country. Foreshadowing. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. I just could not find it. It's always these morning streams that my brain is just like, I don't know words. I can read words, but thinking of words can't do it. But to also be fair, I took a Benadryl last night to help me sleep, and it's still clinging. The Passover and the Festival of Unleavened Bread. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron in Egypt, This month is to be for you the first month of your year. Tell the whole community of Israel that on the 10th day of this month, each man is to take a lamb for his family, one for each household. If any household is too small for a whole lamb, they must share one with the nearest neighbor, having taken into account the number of people there are. You are to determine the amount of lamb needed in accordance with what each person will eat. The animals you choose must be 1 year old males without defect, and you may take them from sheep or the goats. Take care of them until the 14th day of the month, when all the members of the community of Israel must slaughter them at twilight. Then they are to take some of the blood, put it on the sides and tops of the door frames of the houses where they eat the lambs. That same night they are to eat the meat roasted over the fire, along with bitter herbs and bread made without yeast. Do not eat the meat raw or boiled in water, but roast it over a fire, with the head, legs, and internal organs. Do not leave any of it till morning. If some is left till morning, you must burn it. This is how you are to eat it, with your cloak tucked into your belt, and your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand. Eat it in haste, if it is the Lord's Passover. On that same night I will pass through Egypt and strike down every firstborn of both people and animals, and I will bring judgment on all the gods of Egypt. I am the Lord. The blood will be a sign for you on the houses where you are, and when I see the blood, I will pass over you. No destructive plague will touch you when I strike Egypt. This is a day you are to commemorate. For the generations to come, you shall celebrate it as a festival to the Lord, a lasting ordinance. For 7 days you are to eat bread made without yeast. On the first day, remove the yeast from your houses, for whoever eats anything with yeast in it from the first day through the 7th must be cut off from Israel. On the first day, hold a sacred assembly, and another one on the seventh day. Do no work at all on these days except to prepare food for everyone to eat. That is all you may do. Celebrate the festival of unleavened bread, because it was on this very day that I brought your divisions out of Egypt. Celebrate this day as a lasting ordinance for the generations to come. In the first month you are to eat bread made without yeast, from the evening of the 14th day until the evening of the 21st day. For 7 days no yeast is to be found in your houses, and anyone, whether foreigner or native born, who eats anything with yeast in it must be cut off from the community of Israel. Eat nothing made with yeast. Wherever you live, you must eat unleavened bread. Then Moses summoned all the elders of Israel and said to them, Go at once and select the animals for your families and slaughter the Passover lamb. Take a bunch of hyssop, dip it into the blood in the basin, and put some of the blood on the top and both sides of the doorframe. Also, this is backwards, so Moses says top and both sides, but God told him the other way around. Where is it? On the sides and tops. So Moses reversed it because he put top and sides, and will pass over the doorway, and he will not permit the destroyer to enter your house and strike you down. Obey these instructions as a lasting ordinance for you and your descendants. When you enter the land that the Lord will give you as he promised, observe this ceremony. And when your children ask, What does this ceremony mean to you? Then tell them, It is the Passover sacrifice to the Lord, who passed over the houses of the Israelites in Egypt and spared our homes when he struck down the Egyptians. Then the people bowed down and worshiped. The Israelites did just what the Lord commanded Moses and Aaron. At midnight, the Lord struck down all the firstborn in Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh, who sat on the throne, to the firstborn of the prisoner whom was in the dungeon, and the firstborn of all the livestock as well. Pharaoh and all his officials and all the Egyptians got up during the night, and there was loud wailing in Egypt, for there was not a house without someone dead. The Exodus. During the night, Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron and said, Up, leave my people, you and the Israelites. Go, worship the Lord as you have requested. Take your flocks and herds as you have said, and go, and also bless me. The Egyptians urged the people to hurry and leave the country, for otherwise, they said, we will all die. So the people took their dough before the yeast was added and carried it on their shoulders in kneading troughs wrapped in clothing. The Israelites did as Moses instructed and asked the Egyptians for articles of silver and gold and for clothing. The Lord had made the Egyptians favorably disposed toward the people, and they gave them what they asked for, so they plundered the Egyptians. The Israelites journeyed from Ramses to Succoth. There were about 600,000 men on foot, besides women and children. So if there were just 600,000 men, think of how many people. So let's say the same amount of women. So, good gracious, that's a lot of people. Not even counting the animals. Many other people went up with them, and also droves of livestock, both flocks and herds. With the dough the Israelites had brought from Egypt, they baked loaves of unleavened bread. The dough was without yeast because they had been driven out of Egypt and did not have time to prepare food for themselves. Now the length of time the Israelite people lived in Egypt was 430 years. At the end of the 430 years, to the very day, all the Lord's divisions left Egypt, because the Lord kept vigil that night to bring them out of Egypt. On this night, all the Israelites would keep vigil to honor the Lord for the generations to come. When you get there, keep track of the numbers of people and numbers. Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, so we'll have to make notes. I might have to ask somebody to keep account for me. But yeah, there's a lot of people and a lot of stuff. Like, they actually brought and kept like a lot of things. Numbers is going to be so interesting and so intricate, but also kind of annoying just reading names. Names is where I struggle. But we'll do some math when we get there. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, These are the regulations for the Passover meal. No foreigner may eat it. Any slave you have bought may eat it after you have circumcised him, but a temporary resident or hired worker may not eat it. It must be eaten inside the house. Take none of the meat outside the house. Do not break any of the bones. The whole community of Israel must celebrate it. A foreigner residing among you who wants to celebrate the Lord's Passover must have all the males in his household circumcised. Then he may take part like one born in the land. No uncircumcised male may eat it. The same law applies to both the native born and to the foreigner residing among you. All the Israelites did just what the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron, and on that very day the Lord brought the Israelites out of Egypt by their divisions. So I think one thing that like the New Testament forgets, well, I mean like people in the New Testament time forget, is that God in the Old Testament actually invited, like the Israelites to bring foreigners in, and new people in to worship God that weren't born Israelites. And so that's what's wild kind of in the New Testament is they're so anti, anyone that doesn't believe. But God was saying, hey, you can bring people in. They just have to follow, the rules. Just interesting to me. As long as they followed the laws. Consecration of the firstborn. The Lord said to Moses, consecrate to me every firstborn male. The first offspring of every womb among the Israelites belongs to me, whether human or animal. Then Moses said to the people, commemorate this day, the day you came out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery, because the Lord brought you out of it with a mighty hand. Eat nothing containing yeast. Today, in the month of Aviv, you are leaving. When the Lord brings you into the land of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Hivites, and Jebusites, the land he swore to your ancestors to give you, a land flowing with milk and honey, you are to observe this ceremony in this month. For 7 days eat bread made without yeast, and on the 7th day hold a festival to the Lord. Eat unleavened bread during those 7 days. Nothing with yeast in it is to be seen among you, nor shall any yeast be seen anywhere within your borders. On that day, tell your son, I do this because of what the Lord did for me when I came out of Egypt. This observance will be for you like a sign on your hand and a reminder on your forehead that this law of the Lord is to be on your lips. For the Lord brought you out of Egypt with his mighty hand. You must keep this ordinance at the appointed time year after year. After the Lord brings you into the land of the Canaanites and gives it to you as he promised on oath to you and your ancestors, you are to give over to the Lord the first offspring of every womb. All the firstborn males of your livestock belong to the Lord. Redeem with a lamb every firstborn donkey, but if you do not redeem it, break its neck. Rough. Redeem every firstborn among your sons. As it said, it was the. So, it will be. This observance will be for you like a sign on your hand and a reminder on your forehead. So the mark was on the hand. So it's like a mark on your hand, so that, or a reminder on your forehead. So you remember, and that those around you remember to observe. Oh, it says it right. I hear it in a second. In the days to come, when your son asks you, with a mighty hand, in the days to come, when your son asks you, what does this mean? Say to him, with a mighty hand, the Lord brought us out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. When Pharaoh stubbornly refused to let us go, the Lord killed the firstborn of both people and animals in Egypt. This is why I sacrifice to the Lord the first male offspring of every womb and redeem each of my firstborn sons. And it was like a sign on your hand and a symbol on your forehead that the Lord brought us out of Egypt with his mighty hand. It's kind of like the mark of the beast would overwrite that. So it's not talking about like a physical mark. It's more of, how some people with ADHD will maybe write on their hand to remind them so they don't forget something. That's more of what this is talking about. It's supposed to be like that, not a physical like mark. So the mark it's more of a reminder thing. or how some people will tie strings or wear like the stretchy bracelets. Yeah, it's kind of like the mark of the beast with, yeah. So it's supposed to, kind of, but with the death of Jesus, these feasts and festivals, so like the Passover, was all fulfilled. So in a sense, yeah, that's correct. Is that this reminder would overwrite, like the mark of the beast, because Jesus washed that away. Excuse me. I hope that made sense, because sometimes I just ramble. Crossing the sea. When Pharaoh let the people go, God did not lead them on the road through the Philistine country, though that was shorter. For God said if they face war, they might change their minds and return to Egypt. So God led the people around the desert by the desert road toward the Red Sea. The Israelites went up out of Egypt ready for battle. Moses took the bones of Joseph with him because Joseph had made the Israelites swear an oath. Whoa, I see. I don't remember that. Had said, God will surely come to your aid, and then you must carry my bones up with you from this place. That's interesting. So he was just carrying around the bones of Joseph, who. Oh, I'm going to have to look that up. Like, because when Joseph died, compared to Moses alive, because Moses was just carrying around the bones of Joseph. It's so interesting. I really didn't remember that. Okay, after leaving Succoth, they camped at Etham on the edge of the desert. By day, the Lord went ahead of them in a pillar of cloud to guide them on their way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light so they could travel by day or night. Neither the pillar of cloud by day nor the pillar of fire by night left its place in front of the people. I think that'd be terrifying. Just seeing this pillar of fire in the middle of the night leading, I think that's scarier. Then the Lord said to Moses, tell the Israelites to turn back and encamp near Pi Hahiroth, between Migdol and the sea. Unless you knew the source. Yeah. See, but just think of being, an Egyptian who was just friends with, an Israelite and left with them. And then you just see this pillar of fire and you're not really sure and someone has to explain it to you. That's also interesting. There's so many things that are just, God is so cool and terrifying all at the same time. And I think that's one of the great things of God is to see his power like this is so interesting. They are to camp by the sea. I didn't care if any Egyptians went with the Israelites. So it said they had some people with them, because it said that some others went and followed them as well. So you never know. They are to encamp by the sea, directly opposite of Baal Zephon. Pharaoh will think the Israelites are wandering around the land in confusion, hemmed in by the desert. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and he will pursue them. But I will gain glory for myself through Pharaoh and all his army, and the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord. So the Israelites did this. When the king of Egypt was told that the people had fled, Pharaoh and his officials changed their minds about them and said, what have we done? We have let the Israelites go and have lost their services. So he had his chariot made ready and took his army with him. He took 600 of the best chariots, along with all of the other chariots of Egypt, with officers over all of them. The Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Oh my goodness. See, they at least waited until like the middle of reading instead of the beginning. So that he pursued the Israelites who were marching out boldly. The Egyptians, all Pharaoh's horses and chariots, horsemen and troops, pursued the Israelites and overtook them as they camped by the sea near Pi Hahiroth, opposite Baal Zephon. As Pharaoh approached, the Israelites looked up, and there were the Egyptians marching after them. They were terrified and cried out to the Lord. They said to Moses, "Was it because there were no graves in Egypt that you brought us to the desert to die? What have you done to us by bringing us out of Egypt? Didn't we say to you in Egypt, 'Leave us alone, let us serve the Egyptians'? It would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the desert." Moses answered the people, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. The Egyptians you see today will never see again. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Why are you crying out to me? Tell the Israelites to move on. Raise your staff and stretch out your hand over the sea to divide the water so that the Israelites can go over the sea on dry ground. I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians so that they will go in after them, and I will gain glory through Pharaoh and all his army, through his chariots and his horsemen. The Egyptians will know that I am the Lord when I gain glory through Pharaoh, his chariots, and his horsemen." Then the angel of God, who had been traveling in front of Israel's army, withdrew and went behind them. The pillar of cloud also moved from in front and stood behind them, coming between the armies of Egypt and Israel. Throughout the night the cloud brought darkness to one side and light to the other side, so neither went near the other all night long. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and all that night the Lord drove the sea back with a strong east wind and turned it into dry land. The waters were divided, and the Israelites went through the sea on dry ground, with a wall of water on their right and on their left. The Egyptians pursued them, and all Pharaoh's horses and chariots and horsemen followed them into the sea. During the last watch of the night, the Lord looked down from the pillar of fire and cloud at the Egyptian army and threw it into confusion. He jammed the wheels of their chariots, so they had difficulty driving, and the Egyptians said, "Let's get away from the Israelites. The Lord is fighting for them against Egypt." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand over the sea so that the waters may flow back over the Egyptians and their chariots and horsemen." Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and at daybreak the sea went back to its place. The Egyptians were fleeing toward it, and the Lord swept them into the sea. The water flowed back and covered the chariots and horsemen, the entire army of Pharaoh that had followed the Israelites into the sea. Not one of them survived. But the Israelites went throughout the sea on dry ground with a wall of water on their right and on their left. That day the Lord saved Israel from the hands of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians lying dead on the shore. And when the Israelites saw the mighty hand of the Lord displayed against the Egyptians, the people feared the Lord and put their trust in him and in Moses his servant. The Song of Moses and Miriam. Then Moses and the Israelites sang this song to the Lord. "I will sing to the Lord, for he is highly exalted. Both horse and driver he is hurled into the sea. The Lord is my strength and my defense. He has become my salvation. He is my God, and I will praise him. My father's God, and I will exalt him. The Lord is a warrior, the Lord is his name. Pharaoh's chariots and his army he has hurled into the sea. The best of Pharaoh's officers are drowned in the Red Sea." Hey, Uncle Shao, how are you today? We are in Exodus 15:5. The deep waters have covered them. They sank to the depths like a stone. Your right hand, Lord, was majestic in power. Your right hand, Lord, shattered the enemy. In the greatness of your majesty, you threw down those who opposed you. You unleashed your burning anger. It consumed them like stubble. By the blasts of your nostrils, the waters piled up. The surging waters stood up like a wall. The deep waters congealed in the heart of the sea. The enemy boasted, "I will pursue, I will overtake them, I will divide the spoils. I will gorge myself on them, I will draw my sword, and my hand will destroy them." But you blew with your breath, and the sea covered them. They sank like lead in the mighty waters. Who among the gods is like you, Lord? Who is like you, majestic in holiness, awesome in glory, working wonders? You stretch out your right hand, and the earth swallows your enemies. In your unfailing love you will lead the people you have redeemed. In your strength you will guide them to your holy dwelling. The nations will hear and tremble. Anguish will grip the people of Philistia. The chiefs of Edom will be terrified. The leaders of Moab will be seized with trembling. The people of Canaan will melt away. Terror and dread will fall on them. Yeah, at work on lunch break, going to get off early. Hey, that's good. Getting off work early is always great. By the power of your arm, they will be as still as stone until your people pass by, Lord, until the people you bought pass by. You will bring them in and plant them on the mountain of your inheritance, the place, Lord, you made for your dwelling. The sanctuary, Lord, your hands establish. The Lord reigns forever and ever. When Pharaoh's horses, chariots, and horsemen went into the sea, the Lord brought waters of the sea back over them. But the Israelites walked through the sea on dry ground. Then Miriam the prophet, Aaron's sister, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women followed her. With timbrels and dancing, Miriam sang a song to them. Sing to the Lord, for he is highly exalted. Both horse and driver he has hurled into the sea. Okay, time for a quick sip. Okay. The waters of Mara and Elim. Hi, Jake. How are you today? We're almost to Exodus 16. We just finished reading the actual Exodus and the parting of the waters. Then Moses led Israel from the Red Sea, and they went into the desert of Shur. For 3 days they traveled in the desert without finding water. When they came to Mara, they could not drink its water because it's bitter. That's okay. Hey, you still made it in time. That is why the place is called Mara. So the people grumbled against Moses, saying, "What are we to drink?" Then Moses cried out to the Lord, and the Lord showed him a piece of wood. He threw it into the water, and the water became fit to drink. There the Lord issued a ruling and instruction for them and put them to the test. He said, "If you listen carefully to the Lord your God and do what is right in his eyes, if you pay attention to his commands and keep all his decrees, I will not bring on you any of the diseases I brought on the Egyptians, for I am the Lord who heals you." Now I've got hiccups. Then they came to Elim, where there were 12 springs and 70 palm trees, and they camped there near the water. Manna and quail. The whole Israelite community set out from Elim and came out of the desert of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the 2nd month after they had come out of Egypt. In the desert, the whole community grumbled against Moses and Aaron. The Israelites said to them, "If only we had died by the Lord's hand in Egypt. There we sat around pots of meat and ate all the food we wanted, but you have brought us out into the desert to starve this entire assembly to death." Then the Lord said to Moses, "I will rain down bread from heaven for you. The people are to go out each day and gather enough for that day. In this way I will test them and see whether they will follow my instructions. On the 6th day they are to prepare what they bring in, and that is to be twice as much as they gather on the other days." So Moses and Aaron said to all the Israelites, "In the evening you will know that it was the Lord who brought you out of Egypt. And in the morning you will see the glory of the Lord, because he has heard your grumblings against him. Who are we that you should grumble against us?" Moses also said, "You will know..." Oh my goodness. They're having a good time this morning. "You will know that it was the Lord when he gives you meat to eat in the evening and all the bread you want in the morning, because he has heard your grumblings against him. Who..." 1 second. Okay. "You are grumbling against us, but against the Lord." Oh my goodness, we're instigating back here. Instigating puppies. Yes, I think it went well. I'll have to wait and see what happens, but thank you for asking. I appreciate it. Okay. Then Moses told Aaron, "Say to the entire Israelite community, come before the Lord, for he has heard your grumbling." While Aaron was speaking to the whole Israelite community, they looked toward the desert, and there was the glory of the Lord appearing in the cloud. Yeah, I hope I get it. I'll have to change my streaming schedule, but we'll see. The Lord said to Moses, I have heard the grumbling of the Israelites. Tell them, at twilight you will eat meat, and in the morning you will be filled with bread. Then you will know that I am the Lord your God. That evening quail came and covered the camp, and in the morning there was a layer of dew around the camp. When the dew was gone, thin flakes like frost on the ground appeared on the desert floor. When the Israelites saw it, they said to each other, What is it? For they did not know what it was. Moses said to them, It is the bread the Lord has given you to eat. This is what the Lord has commanded. Everyone is to gather as much as they need. Take an omer for each person you have in your tent. The Israelites did as they were told. Some gathered much, some little. And when they measured it by the omer, the one who gathered much did not have too much, and the one who gathered little did not have too little. Everyone had gathered just as much as they needed. Then Moses said to them, No one is to keep any of it until morning. However, some of them paid no attention to Moses, and they kept part of it until morning, but it was full of maggots and began to smell. So Moses was angry with them. Each morning everyone gathered as much as they needed, and when the sun grew hot, it melted away. On the sixth day they gathered twice as much, 2 omers for each person, and the leaders of the community came and reported this to Moses. He said to them, This is what the Lord commanded. Tomorrow is to be a day of Sabbath rest, a holy Sabbath to the Lord. So bake what you want to bake and boil what you want to boil. Save whatever is left and keep it until morning. So they saved it until morning as Moses commanded, and it did not stink or get maggots in it. Eat it today, because today is, Moses said, because today is a Sabbath to the Lord. You will not find any of it on the ground today. 6 days you are to gather it, but on the 7th day, the Sabbath, there will not be any. Nevertheless, some of the people went out on the 7th day to gather it, but they found none. Then the Lord said to Moses, How long will you refuse to keep my commands and my instructions? Bear in mind that the Lord has given you the Sabbath. That is why on the 6th day he gives you bread for 2 days. Everyone is to stay where they are on the 7th day. No one is to go out. So the people rested on the 7th day. The people of Israel called the bread manna. It was white like coriander seed and tasted like wafers made with honey. Moses said, This is what the Lord has commanded. Take an omer of manna and keep it for the generations to come, so they can see the bread I gave you to eat in the wilderness when I brought you out of Egypt. So Moses said to Aaron, Take a jar and put an omer of manna in it, then place it before the Lord to be kept for the generations to come. As the Lord commanded Moses, Aaron put the manna with the tablets of the covenant law, so that it might be preserved. The Israelites ate manna 40 years until they came to a land that was settled. They ate manna until they reached the border of Canaan. An omer is 1/10 of an ephah. An ephah? Ephah? I think. Okay. Water from the rock. The whole Israelite community set out from the desert of Sin, traveling from place to place as the Lord commanded. They camped at Rephidim, but there was no water for the people to drink. So they quarreled with Moses and said, Give us water to drink. Moses replied, Why do you quarrel with me? Why do you put the Lord to the test? But the people were thirsty for water there, and they grumbled against Moses. They said, Why did you bring us up out of Egypt to make us and our children and livestock die of thirst? Then Moses cried out to the Lord, What am I to do with these people? They are almost ready to stone me. Then the Lord answered Moses, Go out in front of the people, take with you some of the elders of Israel, and take in your hand the staff with which you struck the Nile, and go. I will stand there before you by the rock at Horeb. Strike the rock, and water will come out of it for the people to drink. So Moses did this in the sight of the elders of Israel, and he called that place Massah and Meribah, because the Israelites quarreled and because they tested the Lord, saying, Is the Lord among us or not? Excuse me. The Amalekites defeated. The Amalekites came and attacked the Israelites at Rephidim. Moses said to Joshua, Choose some of our men and go out to fight the Amalekites. Tomorrow, hello, the Emerald Zamach. Welcome in, welcome in. We're in Exodus. We're in Exodus 17:10. If you want to follow along, if you want to listen, that's all right as well. Tomorrow I will stand on top of the hill with the staff of God in my hands. Okay, no problem. No problem, Emerald. Welcome in. So Joshua fought the Amalekites as Moses had ordered, and Moses, Aaron, and Hur went to the top of the hill. As long as Moses held up his hands, the Israelites were winning. But whenever he lowered his hands, the Amalekites were winning. When Moses' hands grew tired, they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat on it. Aaron and Hur held his hands up, one on one side, one on the other, so that his hands remained steady until sunset. So Joshua overcame the Amalekite army with the sword. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Write this on a scroll as something to be remembered, and make sure that Joshua hears it, because I will completely blot out the name of Amalek from under heaven." Moses built an altar and called it "The Lord is my banner." He said, because hands were lifted up against the throne of the Lord, and the Lord will be at war with the Amalekites from generation to generation. When I was little, them not listening to Moses made me suffer. Yeah, it's crazy. Like literally everything they asked for is given to them, but they were still so ungrateful, and it's just wild. Jethro visits Moses. Now Jethro, the priest of Midian and father-in-law of Moses, heard of everything God had done for Moses and for his people Israel, and how the Lord had brought Israel out of Egypt. And after Moses had sent away his wife Zipporah, his father-in-law Jethro received her and her 2 sons. One son was named Gershom, always the victim apparently. Yeah. For Moses said, "I have become a foreigner and I don't know why we're upset. Today, yeah. I just know that I get a package today, but not yet. I don't know what's going on with them. Okay, sorry. Yeah, it's insane that they're just so ungrateful about everything. Like, they don't have to actually do, like, the slavery thing, and they don't owe people. I become a foreigner in a foreign land. Yeah, they like to bark during Bible streams. And the other was named Eliezer, for he said, "My father's God was my helper. He saved me from the sword of Pharaoh." Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, together with Moses' sons and wife, came to him in the wilderness, where he was camped near the mountain of God. Jethro sent word to him, "I, your father-in-law Jethro, am coming to you with your wife and her 2 sons." So Moses went out to meet his father-in-law and bowed down and kissed him. They greeted each other and then went into the tent. Moses told his father-in-law about everything the Lord had done to Pharaoh and the Egyptians for Israel's sake, and about all the hardships they had met along the way and how the Lord had saved them. Jethro was delighted to hear about all the good things the Lord had done for Israel in rescuing them from the hands of the Egyptians. He said, "Praise be to the Lord who rescued you from the hand of the Egyptians, and of Pharaoh who rescued the people from the hand of the Egyptians. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all other gods, for he did this to those who had treated Israel arrogantly." Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, brought a burnt offering and other sacrifices to God, and Aaron came with the elders of Israel to eat a meal with Moses' father-in-law in the presence of God. The next day Moses took his seat to serve as judge for the people, and they stood around him from morning till evening. When his father-in-law saw all that Moses was doing for the people, he said, "What is this you are doing for the people? Why do you alone sit as judge, while all these people stand around you from morning till evening?" Moses answered him, "Because the people come to me to seek God's will. Whenever they have a dispute, it is brought to me, and I decide between the parties and inform them of God's decrees and instructions." Moses' father-in-law replied, "What are you doing that is not good? What you are doing is not good. You and the you and these people who come to you will only wear yourselves out. The work is too heavy for you, and you cannot handle it alone. Listen now to me, and I will give you some advice, and may God be with you. You must be the people's representative before God and bring their disputes to him. Teach them his decrees and instructions and show them the way they are to live and how they are to behave. But select capable men from all the people, men who fear God, trustworthy men who hate dishonest gain, and appoint them as officials over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. Have them serve as judges for the people at all times, but have them bring every difficult case to you. The simple cases they can decide themselves. That will make your load lighter, because they will share it with you. If you do this, and God so commands, you will be able to stand the strain, and all these people will go home satisfied. Moses listened to his father-in-law and did everything he said. He chose capable men from all Israel and made them leaders of all the people, officials over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. They served as judges for the people at all times. The difficult cases they brought to Moses, but the simple ones they decided themselves. Then Moses sent his father-in-law on his way, and Jethro returned to his own country. At Mount Sinai. On the first day of the 3rd month after the Israelites left Egypt, on that very day they came to the desert of Sinai. After they set out from Rephidim, they entered the desert of Sinai, and Israel camped there in the desert in front of that mountain. Then Moses went up to God, and the Lord called to him from the mountain and said, "This is what you are to say to the descendants of Jacob, and what you are to tell the people of Israel. You yourselves have seen what I did to Egypt, and how I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now if you obey me fully and keep my covenant, then out of all nations you will be my treasured possession. Although the whole earth is mine, you will be for me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words you are to speak to the Israelites." So Moses went back and summoned the elders of the people and set before them all the words the Lord had commanded him to speak. The people all responded together, "We will do everything the Lord has said." So Moses brought their answer back to the Lord. The Lord said to Moses, "I am going to come to you in a dense cloud so that the people will hear me speaking with you and will always put their trust in you." Then Moses told the Lord what the people had said. And the Lord said to Moses, "Go to the people and consecrate them today and tomorrow. Have them wash their clothes and be ready by the 3rd day, because on that day the Lord will come down on Mount Sinai in the sight of all the people. Put limits for the people around the mountain and tell them, 'Be careful that you do not approach the mountain or touch the foot of it. Whoever touches the mountain is to be put to death. They are to be stoned or shot with arrows, not a hand is to be laid on them. No person or animal shall be permitted to live. Only when the ram's horn sounds a long blast may they approach the mountain.'" After Moses had gone down the mountain to the people, he consecrated them, and they washed their clothes. Then he said to the people, "Prepare yourselves for the 3rd day. Abstain from sexual relations." Yeah, God meant business. On the morning of the 3rd day, there was thunder and lightning with a thick cloud over the mountain, and a very loud trumpet blast. Everyone in the camp trembled. Then Moses led the people out of the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. Mount Sinai was covered with smoke because the Lord had descended on it in fire. The smoke billowed up from it like smoke from a furnace, and the whole mountain trembled violently. As the sound of the trumpet grew louder and louder, Moses spoke, and the voice of God answered him. The Lord descended to the top of Mount Sinai and called Moses to the top of the mountain. So Moses went up, and the Lord said to him, "Go down and warn the people so they do not force their way through to see the Lord, and many of them perish. Even the priests who approach the Lord must consecrate themselves, or the Lord will break out against them." Moses said to the Lord, "The people cannot come up Mount Sinai because you yourself warned us. Put limits around the mountain and set it apart as holy." The Lord replied, "Go down and bring Aaron up with you, but the priests and the people must not force their way through to come up to the Lord, or he will break out against them." So Moses went down to the people and told them. Okay, I think this is a good place to stop for today. So we do the 10 Commandments tomorrow. And we'll start at 20. But yeah, you made it in time. So we'll be in 20 on, so we'll start Monday with the 10 Commandments. Hey, that's a good way to start the week with the reading the Ten Commandments. So Monday should be an evening stream. Um, we'll see. It should be an evening stream though. Um, but I'm gonna pray us out, and then I'm gonna take a little break and eat some food, do a little bit of cleaning. Absolutely, DePrazo. And then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna play some Baldur's Gate. Okay? Sound good, everybody? And if you don't want to come back for the Baldur's Gate, that is okay as well. But we're gonna play for a little while, at least until my new chair gets here. Okay, let me go ahead and pray us out, guys. Dear Lord, thank you for another great day in your fellowship and in fellowship with each other, Lord. Thank you for showing us what not to do as the Israelites complained at every turn, Lord. And just be thankful for everything you give us, Lord. Thank you for going with us through our day to day. Be with those having hard times. I know there's some people on TikTok who've asked for prayers for themselves, Lord. Just be with each and every person. You know who they are and what they need, Lord. And be with those having hard times here in the stream and who see the video after. You know what each heart needs, Lord. Be with those having good times. Let them be thankful and just grateful to you, Lord, and see your majesty in each good thing. And be with each of us as we go through our day and go through the weekend and bring us back together at our appointed hour. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Well, amen, guys. Thank you for coming to hang out with me. I really appreciate having all of you here. Let's see if I might raid somebody. We'll see. Let's take a look. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna raid, but I hope you guys have a great day. If I don't see you later, otherwise I will see you guys on Monday. Be safe, everybody. You got a couple of suggestions? What you got? What you got for suggestions? I'll take suggestions. And be safe, everybody. I don't know where you all are, but it's supposed to be hot today, I think. Okay. Let me see. Are they live right now? Let me see. Mm, Let me see. Mm. I'm always careful about boiling. Yeah, definitely drink some water, Jake. Um I tend to be careful about raiding because I've had a couple bad raids and okay, I think we're gonna do Rayla because Rayla's doing the armor of God. Okay. Okay, you ready? We're gonna go raid. But I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys later. Bye. We got 10 seconds. And we're gonna follow. I hope you guys are ready. But I love all of you. I hope you have a fantastic day.